Welcome to the Tom Matt Show. You are walking through the front door of the retirement zone. And now, your host, Tom Matt.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of what we lovingly like to call the Tom Matt Show. Hope everybody's having a great day, had a great week, great month, great life. Everything's going well. Last week, Dr. Deborah Heiser was back, and we were talking about her new book, The Mentorship Edge. The Mentorship Edge, which I'm about 3/4 done with, doing the Whisper Sync Kindle thing happening, and it's so good. I mean, it's just mentoring young people, being reverse mentored by young people, the whole thing. It's such a good topic to understand. It's very, very important as we continue to help people. And, you know, we like to talk about our young people and helping college students and everybody across the board. I mean, that's what we're here for. So that was Dr. Deborah Heiser, The Mentorship Edge, and I hope you go check out her book. Today, my buddy Ashton Henderson is back. Guy's amazing. Does so much stuff at Michigan State University. 4-year letter winner for the Spartan football team, 2006, 2009. I think I worked every one of his games. Returns to Michigan State as Executive Associate Athletics Director for Championship Resources. MSU Vice President and Director of Athletics, Alan Haller, announced that on February 18th, 2022. And he began his appointment on that date, February 28th. In his role, in addition to all the other things he does, he will oversee student-facing areas associated with health, mental and physical wellness, and student-athlete engagement. That's all I'm going to do on the bio because I want Ashton to be able to talk about his own bio himself. I could read this whole thing, but it's very, very long. It's very, very detailed because the guy's been around. He's got several degrees, very smart, and enough said. I mean, we've been friends for a long, long, long time, and I admire the heck out of this guy. I want to welcome back to the radio program, my friend, Ashton Henderson. Ashton, welcome. Thank you.
Tom, thanks for having me again, brother. Great to see you.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. You know the drill here, man. You've done this a couple of times now. We got to talk about the fam. You got to talk about Chloe, how things are going with her, your whole deal with your life. This is your life, and then we'll get rolling on here on athletics at MSU, State of State. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks again for having me. I know on the personal front, life is great. Chloe and I got married this summer in Crete, Greece, which was nothing short of amazing. In the land of Sparta. How about that?
Sweet.
So in terms of that, it was incredible. 7 months in, I think she still likes me. We're still rolling. But she's the love of my life. She's my rock, and I'm grateful for all that she is and her friendship, partnership, and just couldn't have picked a better life partner. So I'm grateful for her and just excited about what's to come for our family in this new year.
Fantastic, man. I'm glad you found your soulmate. And I have to ask you though, how did you guys decide on Crete, Greece? That seems like, I mean, that's a big choice.
Very big choice. Obviously, that's why she's the CEO of the family. You play that 10 times over. But no, it was something that we both were looking for something different. And she came across Greece, and it was some place we had both never been. And it's a place we're going to often go back to. Trust me. And if you haven't been, I'm not receiving any tourist ascendance for this. I can tell you, this place you want to be.
Why?
Gorgeous, scenic views, great food, great people, everything you can think of, Greece has.
Checked all those boxes. I like it a lot. Okay. Ashton Henderson's our guest today, everybody. Athletics at MSU, State of State. So now that we're into 2025, got an election under our belt and all that good stuff and getting done with all that. Now we move forward because athletics across the country at the college level, especially at the Division I level, has really been just shaking and moving and jiving so much that we got to have an expert like Ashton come in here and kind of tell us what's going on. I mean, so as far as I would love for you to define your title as Deputy AD for Championship Resources. What your hat must be pretty large with all the things that you handle. Can you tell the listeners what exactly that and what your responsibilities are with that role, please?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm immensely grateful to Alan Haller. Can't believe it's been 3 years since I've been back at Michigan State. But my role is I'm one of 3 deputies in our department. So look at it like this. Each deputy is responsible for a third of the enterprise. So, and Alan has entrusted us to really have the autonomy and really put our spin and also our leadership style on these different units. So I oversee 9 areas. So athletic training, nutrition, athletic performance, which is strength and conditioning, student athlete wellness, which is mental health, and the common world, as well as sports science and data analytics. I oversee our NIL strategy from an educational standpoint, as well as what that looks like for us to really engage with our students and staying on the innovation side there, as well as our Varsity S, which is our Varsity Letter Winners Club in our association, student athlete development, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So those are essentially the Divine Nine, and that keep me busy every single day. And I have some amazing people that I work with and who help champion those efforts, and I just help support them to the best of my ability.
You know, you say everything so perfectly. I mean, it's just so awesome to hear you speak about all this and your teams, everything that's going out there. Okay, well, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, we could start with health. I mean, we're here to help our student athletes and our young people and ourselves because, you know, with the mentorship, when I just did that show last week, Ashton, and reading the book, I understand that, you know, mentorship and helping and giving back is very intrinsically rewarding. And so as far as the student health aspect of your athletes and our undergraduates and graduate students, what's your vibe on that? How are they doing? What can we do to serve them better? And what is MSU doing to support our student athletes? That's a big question, but we have plenty of time to talk. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, MSU has always been a leader in student athlete wellness and mental health for over 40 years, particularly with sports psychiatry and the just all the things of which we've done before it was said and it was cool to do. And one of the things that we never did was tell our story in a way that was compelling, but that was not what we got in this game for. Michigan State's been serving and leading and a pioneer in that space, as I mentioned. But when you turn the page currently, it's so important. Mental health and wellness and how we support our student athletes is quintessential into how we see the next iteration of this going. So, for example, one of the major draws and why I came back to Michigan State, albeit it's my alma mater and I love this place and bleed green through and through. Vessels, heart, everything's green. Wearing a green shirt, all the important things, right? And so that's just who I am. But I really think it's important. Alan had a vision to essentially build a best in-class mental health department in the country, coupled with all the resources we had prior. And we've done that. We've done that with unique care and partnerships across the aisle on campus, as well as the clinicians that we have that are incredible, as well as the performance coaches, you name it, the full integrated health systems, as well as the programs that we've instilled with our students has been amazing. And I'm so grateful just to have played a small part. In fact, small shameless plug, there is an opportunity within our department currently as we're hiring for a student athlete wellness coordinator. So all my wellness coordinators with a clinical focus, if you love working with students and you have a passion for helping them behind trials, tribulations, things of the latter, we are looking for you. And so that position is live. It's open till filled, and we're looking for the best and brightest candidates and going through that process now. So it'll be an awesome opportunity to lean into our team. That team is led by Shayna Bruno, who is an awesome leader and is doing some tremendous things not only in our community, but for our campus too.
That's a great plug. And I wish I was in a position where I'd apply for that job. That sounds like a great job. I mean, helping student athletes, helping them fight through. When we have our lunches at over at Brody all the time, which you're going to be invited to coming up here for sure. You know, I have a small group and I've been doing this for years and years and years. I wrote a book about this whole thing called Generation Us, Ashton. And it's all about, I thought I knew what was going through these students' heads, and I knew them all. They were all friends of mine. But let me tell you, when I had my B-ism list and I had my own list and I asked them for their list, I had absolutely zero of what they were thinking. And that was the whole impetus for my book. I'm going to carry this through, bro, because we're going to come up on break here. Let me reset this, everybody. Ashton Henderson, he's the man, Deputy AD for Championship Resources at Michigan State University, calling this one Athletics at MSU, State of State, because Ashton Henderson knows what's going on. He is one of 3 deputy directors working under Alan Haller. We'll talk about Alan, too, because I know Alan very well. When we come back, you're listening to The Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Tom Matt Show. I am your host, Tom Matt. Second segment of our radio program is sponsored by one of the best people I know. Absolutely. Craig Stiles, Ameriprise Financial. Just talked to Craig for quite a while. Just last week, talking about his oldest daughter's wedding that's coming up in June. And I said, well, how many people are coming to this gig? Because we gotta save the date. And I was very happy to get that. And they're expecting 400 or 500 people. And I'm like, oh, the biggest wedding I've ever been to is like maybe 250 or 300. That's a bunch of people. So anyways, to say that in Ameriprise Financial, now you know why Craig needs to have all of our business, because he's going to have to feed like 400 or 500 people here coming up here pretty soon. Call Craig, 1-800-528-1355. Seriously, Craig is the man. 517-848-4893 is the local number. Craig.stiles@ampf.com. Offices are located at 2651 Coolidge Road, Suite 103, East Lansing, Michigan, 48823. We're going to be doing some kind of custom video stuff with Craig here pretty soon with Decideri Analytics, which is his proprietary algorithm, which puts him over the top for all of our selections for our finances. And again, full disclosure, as everyone probably knows, unless you're new to the show, Craig Stiles has handled our retirement zone savings from the university and from the hospital with Sandy. He handles it all. I mean, all of it. And I'm glad, because the performance is great. Stations that have carried us in the past have carried us, do carry us. WGHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven, WJAM 1240 AM in Lansing is the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. Thanks to Stephen Ivy Gruber, who have had us on that syndication for quite a while now, actually. WJRW 1340 AM in Grand Rapids carried us for a long, long time. WKOQ 1490 in Muskegon, Whitehall, WYPV FM 94.5 in Mackinac City. And of course, our flagship at Michigan State University, WKAR, carrying us Sunday afternoons at 5, streaming us on AM 870, broadcasted on AM 870, broadcasted on simulcast at 102.3 FM, and simulcasted all over the place at Sundays at 5. Again, thank you to Craig Stiles for creating Decideri Analytics, where we are making light of weighted decisions. My guest today is my friend Ashton Henderson. I've known Ashton for 20 years, almost, and from a student athlete all the way up to being a deputy AD now. I'm so proud of him. I'm so glad to have him as a friend. He's one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. And let me tell you guys, if you're considering coming to Michigan State, you got to talk to people like Ashton or Alan or they're so approachable. How many times, Ashton, like I know I see you up at the 4th level of football sometimes, and how many times do parents come up to you and just try to pick your brain on helping their kids? Because you know what? That's a big deal for kids starting college. How many times did that happen to you?
Too many to count, but I thoroughly enjoy it. Luckily, I'm an extrovert, and that's something that gives me energy, and I love talking to people, especially those who love Michigan State like I do.
What is the typical response? I mean, if you give somebody some advice and you got an elevator pitch response, what would be kind of if I'm a parent coming to you and saying, Ashton, why do I want my kid? Why do I want my student athlete? Why do I want my student going to Michigan State? What would be your reply?
Yeah, I think there's no better place on this earth than Michigan State. Really, it helps you continue to be humble because you surround yourself with amazing people that are stellar and are better than you in all facets. They just make you better. Curiosity, continuing to learn and grow and learn from one another. And no question's an ill-intended question or a dumb question. We all want to learn and grow together. And particularly, there's Spartans everywhere. That's always something I say. I was in Greece, met several Spartans. I was in Hawaii. I've been in many places the Lord has afforded me to get to and blessed me and my wife to be at. And everywhere there's a Spartan. So that's something that many other institutions cannot say about the depth and breadth of their alumni base and who people are. No matter if you played a sport or not, Michigan State carries weight everywhere in the world.
That is absolutely a fact. When I taught the Spartan experience with a team at Michigan State for the HR department, taught that for like 8 or 9 years. Touch points were a big deal, Ashton. I mean, and just like you say, you wear Spartan green anywhere in this world, and you're probably going to get a go green, right? Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct.
I mean, all the time. All right. So when we were talking about health, mental, and physical wellness, they're all tied together with the student athletes. Student athlete engagement. Last time you were here, we were talking about the breakfast that you guys do. You guys are being very unique in some of the programs that you're offering. We'll get into the NIL stuff here in a little while, but as far as the health and the wellness and the socialization of our student athletes and our students, what have you seen? What are you guys doing over there? Reiterate what you said about that the breakfasts that you have with them, bringing all those athletes together so they get to know each other.
Yeah, Brunch on the Banks is something that I can't take credit for. Our amazing Spartans Fuel team, led by Rod Masterson, came up with the initiative, him and Leanna Hayden, several years ago to help fuel over 400 Olympic sports student athletes in Henderson. We still do that Mondays and Thursdays. Heck, we attribute it to that success. Obviously, you start with fuel and breakfast, and the macro and micronutrients that you're receiving on the nutrition side help really jumpstart the day. So since that has come to fruition, we've been able to see an influx of not only Big Ten scholars, program records being broken, but Big Ten records being broken and shattered, and holistic teams that outperformed historical context for many, many moons, where the records and things of that nature. So we attribute that to breakfast being the most busiest and best part of the day. It helps you really get your day started. And so we're grateful that our student athletes have leaned in, and many of our partners who have helped us continue to ensure that this is a staple for Michigan State and especially in Henderson, which is really, really important.
Well, when you were playing ball in the early twos, mid twos, how has that changed for you? I mean, if you'd have had this breakfast on the banks and your teammates would have had this, how would that have affected your team and your playing ability and your network with your friends at the university? Has it been that impactful?
Yeah, it has. When I was a student athlete, we had probably one registered dietitian, and now we have over 6 across our department, along with fellowship programs and other initiatives. So the evolution of health, wellness, and performance, and particularly in nutrition, has grown immensely. And it's something that you see not only in Michigan State, but across the Big Ten, the country. You have to benchmark where you are, and we're one of the top because of those resources. So it is important, and it's something that we're going to always continue to be competitive in and really make sure our student athletes are fueling properly for not only pre and post recovery, but just throughout the day too. It really, truly does matter.
Our guest today is Ashton Henderson, everyone. Ashton is the Deputy Athletic Director. He's one of 3 who work directly for Alan Haller. We're calling this one Athletics at MSU State of State because so many things have been coming up. Ashton, give me a quick snapshot. We got 30 seconds to go before we go to break here. NIL, is there progress and you got lots to talk about?
Yeah, I'm sure we don't have enough time in our segment right now to go down NIL, but I'm excited to talk about what we're doing here at Michigan State regarding that framework.
I want to hear my man talking about his brothers, the Spartan Dogs. I want to hear about the Varsity S Club. I want to hear about all of this outreach that we do, because that's the whole thing, everybody. And I'm being completely sincere here, everybody. It makes a difference when you feel like you're part of a family. And that's what we have at the Green Machine called Michigan State University. Ashton Henderson's my guest today, everybody. Athletics at MSU, State of the State. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Thank you again to our Segment 2 sponsor, Craig Stiles of Ameriprise Financial. For more information on services provided by Craig, please visit ameripriseadvisors.com/Craig.Stiles or by calling 517-483-4893. You're tuned in to The Tom Matt Show.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. I'm your host, Tom Matt. This segment is sponsored by the other brother from another mother sponsor that we have. We got Craig, and then we got Brock Fletcher. Matter of fact, Brock calls me last week, and he is going to help us bring some of his former interns in a couple of weeks. But that's how Brock is. He wants to help share with what he's doing with his student athletes, with what he's doing with his interns over at the selling team of Keller Williams Realty. And again, full disclosure, we sold Big House Holt thanks to Brock. We bought Little House Lansing thanks to Brock and Mikey Deadman because we trust them. You got to get a hold of people that you trust when it comes to real estate. It's so competitive out there. Here are a couple of numbers coming at you, everybody. Please call my sponsors and support them Tell them you heard it from Tommy. They know that when they hear that, it's like they know it came from radio. 517-853-6408 is his office number. His cell phone number, Brock's cell phone number is 517-303-3262. I'm going to say that one more time, 517-303-3262. You go online to kwsellingteam.com. You can sell your home without hassles. Get in there, get it done, because Brock is the man. Most agents spend thousands of dollars after they get your listing. Not Brock. Brock invests many thousands of dollars before he gets your listing. He is setting this up way ahead of time. He is the guy. He is the trustworthy cat. One more time, take this number down, everybody. Text him, leave him a voicemail, tell him you heard from Tommy, however you want to do it. 517-303-3262. And again, kwsellingteam.com is their website. Lastly, you can always go to our website, tommattshow.com, bottom of the homepage, click on the links at the bottom where our sponsors and friends are, and away you go. Ashton Henderson's my guest today. Athletics at MSU, State of the State. Ashton is a 4-year letter winner for the Michigan State football team from 2006 and 2009. Great player. Before we jump into the NIL stuff here, because that's going to take up a bunch of time. When you were recruited for Michigan State University as a student athlete, I mean, being a 4-year letter winner, bro, that's pretty impressive. I mean, what was your experience like as a student athlete player, and what would you like to share with the new student athletes that are coming? What did you learn, and what do you like to transfer to, especially the football players?
Yeah, I think I was so fortunate to, as a freshman, I was initially going to be redshirted, and one of the folks in front of me on the depth chart suffered a gut-wrenching, I just remember vividly seeing the injury in front of me to their leg, and it's become one of my best friends to this day. And I had to step up, and I had to grow up really quickly. I was 5'11", 186 pounds in the Big Ten. They had a red shirt on me for a reason. I needed to gain some more weight and get ready to be prepared to play Big Ten ball. But what it taught me was what are those skills that are transferable in life. To be patient, always be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that was an opportunity for me to jump right in and have a tremendous freshman year in a campaign, learn from a lot of mistakes, but also be patient. There are times where things don't go your way, and we live in such a microwave society now where we can just fix things instantly. But I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for the trials, the mistakes, the tribulations in which help form and the clay that I am today. And as it relates to what I wanted to be and become, and that's what I would want the new generation. It's not always about, playing right away and getting what you want. It's about learning from the lessons to make you better. And the lessons are what are going to shape you and help you continue to be the best versions of yourself daily. And that's something that I hold true and really pour into this generation about being patient, trust in the process, understanding who you are. You wouldn't be at this institution if you couldn't ball. And so your time is coming, and when it comes, don't look back.
Has the transfer portal really changed that whole be patient mindset, Ashton? Because all of the student athletes that we have, like yourself, I mean, you could probably play anywhere. I mean, you could go especially if you qualify for a Division I program like Michigan State, you can play anywhere. How are we going to encourage the students to kind of mellow out and just kind of stick with the family kind of thing? Is that our pitch to our athletes, because we're such a family oriented institution? What's the play on that? Can you share some of your opinion, please?
Yeah, I think culture eats strategy for breakfast every single day. That's one of my favorite quotes from Peter Drucker. It's something I live by, and something that really, really changes the entire trajectory of why folks look at Michigan State and such admiration, and the respect folks have not only in the Big Ten but globally is because of our culture and who we are. And so it's something very unique. Just recently, Coach Izzo mentioned that in the press conference, gave me chills about this place being so special for folks coming back for the Izzo alumni. I don't think people understand, like, over the break, these folks, have been in school, out of school, over 30, 40 years, some, and to come back with their kids and have that memory and moment there's no place that can emulate what we have, not only on the athletic side, but academically as well as professionally and other. Anything you want to do here is achievable. All you have to do is advocate and tell the right person what you want, and they'll get in touch. And if they don't have the answer, they're going to find a scholar, a leader, and an expert who's going to help you find that goal, whatever you're chasing. And that's something that many people can't offer you.
Well, that's a very, very good point for the listeners, for parents, for student athletes that are thinking about it. What Ashton just said is like, the resources are there, but you have to speak up. Tell people what you want. Okay. If we're going to give you a little bit of advice coming from I'm obviously a little bit older than Ashton by a ways, and he's a little older than the student athletes, but that's why we're here. We're here to give you a little bit of our experience and our wisdom. I mean, I spent 25 years out at that institution and I'm still out there every day. It's just one of those things, but I like what you're saying here and going with that. We went to that event on Friday night for the gymnastics meet at Breslin. I would like to get your opinion on that because I did some posting on that and that was just an amazing, amazing event. Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, it was nothing short of amazing. In fact, talking about student athletes advocating for what they want. And so there's an old adage that says closed mouths don't get fed. And so some of the young ladies had the heart, the courage, and the wherewithal and the fortitude to go to Allen. I mean, several years ago, I believe, if not last year, and have a conversation about their dream was to have a meet, not only the meet against the University of Michigan in the Breslin. And I remember Allen telling us about that as an executive staff. And that's a huge undertaking for those listening. That takes a lot of work to change and reach, all the huge shout out to our facilities and event management team that took on that Herculean task to ensure student athletes not only fulfill the promise, but a night that they'll never forget for the rest of their lives. And so those young ladies advocated for themselves, and Allen, being the person he is and the leader he is, delivered. And so what you got from that was record attendance. What you got was a win over the University of Michigan and us being and remaining in the top 10 in gymnastics and climbing. And so to put any verb, any adjective to describe the feeling of that night is very hard to do because it was just incredible. And seeing all of that come together and our students perform in a venue that they normally don't practice in and still compete at a high level, because gymnastics is about visualization, execution, as well as the uncanny ability. They are tremendous athletes. And there's something that I wish, I was able to train with some of our gymnasts during my time. I think it would have helped me not be as hurt, be flexible more, and to get on their routine, because my goodness, I have the utmost respect.
They are so awesome. The show was so well done. And let me tell you, from a setup perspective, from my little aspect of helping athletics in my career at Michigan State, those events do take tremendous coordination. They're very, very, they're hard. I mean, to put them together and take them apart without anybody realizing how much went into it is frankly amazing. And that's why I did a post saying, good job to Seth's crew, the setup crew, all of the athletic department, everybody. You guys did a great job. You're listening to the Tom Matt Show. My guest today, Ashton Henderson, athletics at MSU, State of State.
Thank you again to our segment 3 sponsor, Brock Fletcher, real estate agent at the selling team with Keller Williams Realty. For more information on services provided by Brock, please call his personal cell phone at 517-303-3262 or by emailing Brock at kwsellingteam.com. This is the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Tom Matt Show. Athletics at MSU, State of State, with my buddy Ashton Henderson. Guy has grown and become such a influential person in his life and in the life of so many young people. And he's married to his beautiful new wife, Chloe Barnes. Not so much new anymore, but you know what? Found his person, and I'm happy for him. Ashton, how would you like people to get a hold of you? You do a lot of speaking. You're very motivating. You're very, very articulate. How would you like people to get a hold of you or the athletic department for any help, assistance, and or any of that stuff? Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, my work email is right on our website, so you can reach out to me at any point in time. Very public for that reason, so we can be accessible. Henderson at ath.msu.edu. Like I said, just go to msuspartans.com. It'll be right there waiting on you. Also, my social platforms are all the same and uniformed, which is just A_Henderson31 on Instagram, on X, and all the platforms. I'm very proud of myself there for calling it X. Millennial me who operates as a boomer would say Twitter. But I'm grateful to be uniformed in all those platforms to be accessible.
And he is accessible. I mean, he will talk to you, no doubt about it. Before we get into, and I know people are dying to hear about all the NIL stuff, and we want to promote what's going on at the university because this is an ongoing process that we're learning how to deal with as an institution. I like to think that I'm part of that institution because I want to promote that, and so we'll go that direction. But before we go there, I want to get your opinion on your 2025 being named 2025 NCAA Emerging Leaders Seminar MC. Talk about that and the context that you make and how that can help our institution, our student athletes, and just our athletes in general. Please talk about that event.
Mentorship is quintessential to our upbringing and building and growing a pipeline to sustainability. And I'm grateful to continue to be a part of that mission. It's something that fuels me every single day is to give back. So many people pour into me daily and are helping me get to my end goal, which is to be a director of athletics one day, and someone who are really invested in me. So it's incumbent upon me to do the same. So this is my 4th year being the MC. I guess I'm doing an okay job to get invited back 4 times and be in the national office and really connect with a lot of great leaders who are doing amazing work on different levels and help the next group and crop of leaders see that they can do anything they put their mind to.
All right, now we're going to get into the NIL stuff. We're going to spend the rest of the show on what MSU does, how we do it, all of the little things that we have over there. We got the Spartan family going over there. You got your Spartan dogs. You got it all happening. Let's start from square one. What is Spartan dogs? What does it mean? And why do people want to know about it?
Spartan dog is something that means the world to me and many other athletes at Michigan State who embrace that moniker. And essentially, it's just someone who has the unwilling and uncanny ability to support one another through the good, the bad, the highs and lows, and just you being tenacious, having the wherewithal and the ability to run through any wall, problem, adversity, trial, whatever that may be. Spartan dogs are relentless, and that's something that I'm grateful to be a part of that village. And the brothers who stood by me in Greece were all Spartan dogs, guys that I met on this very campus that mean the world to me. Shout out to Travis Key, Otis Wiley, Justin Kershaw. Those are my guys, and we are someone I really look up to. Ross Weaver, and have always been a part of my village, and someone that I would have never met if I hadn't. This guy from Tallahassee, Florida, who hadn't ventured up to the tundra, frozen tundra, particularly on this day in East Lansing. So I'm grateful for that.
Travis Key he worked from under my brother at the museum as a freshman, and they remained friends. And Travis Key, all those names that you mentioned, all those gentlemen are all top-notch winners. And that's the whole thing about all of this. So talking about the NIL. Okay, so where have we been for people that have maybe just came back to the planet Earth and haven't been around for a couple of years? We have this new thing called NIL now, name, image, and likeness. Give everybody a snapshot of what it means to start with, and then we can kind of move forward on the progression, because these programs are going to take time to build out. And so, and it is taking, but to do it correctly so that we can service our people and give everybody, we got to have some kind of equity across the board for our student athletes. How is that going? So please define what it is so people understand from your perspective, and then where are we going? How can people help?
Yeah, I would say 6 months from now, NIL will be 4 years old, and it seems like it's been around for 40 years to many administrators like myself. However, it's been good. I think Michigan State, we always lean in innovation, but NIL, for those who aren't familiar, is students can really profit off their name, which would be Ashton, their image, things in which their activations and various opportunities through licensing, and their likeness, various opportunities such as that. So it's been great for students to really understand that, and really education is very, very key in all of this, to how do you maximize growth opportunities to really be the best version of yourself in the NIL market. And so that's what we're about at Michigan State, is making sure our students are well equipped and aware of all of those various challenges and things that exist in this market.
I think about prior to NIL and all of my association with you and all of the athletics out at MSU during my time. And it's like, wow, things have changed quite a bit. And now it's like, well, this seems to me like this should have occurred a long time ago. The student athletes, they work so hard. I mean, talk about your schedule as a student athlete and how tough it is. I mean, you virtually cannot work. I mean, right? I mean, you're so busy. Talk about your schedule as a student athlete, and now the new students with the current students. Please go right ahead.
Yeah, being a student athlete is a commitment. It's something where there's always something in a schedule block for you, and your time management ability, particularly as a freshman and as you matriculate through the institution, are really not your own, in terms of particularly have to prove, that you were responsible enough to get your schoolwork done, making sure that you're staying on top of your grades, you're doing the necessary abilities and things that are necessary to be successful. So it is a demanding yet fun yet rewarding experience, but a lot of those wake-up calls begin at 5 in the morning, and you're going till about 9, 10 at night. And you couple that with class, couple that with being connected to campus and trying to have a social life. It can be very daunting to some, and that's why only several, I would say you're part of that 1%, which is really special, that make it to Division I athletics. So it's something that we all who are Division I athletes take pride in, and something that we know has helped us in our careers to really take on that ability to work and outwork folks, and be able to, when those sudden change moments in life happen, you're able to work through it.
It's very important because college students need money. I mean, people need money, period. But college students, they need socialization, they need money, and their time is so strapped. So take us through the initial. Now, in the beginning, 4 years ago, they've had NIL for 4 years. It seemed like the big, the front porch sports were getting all the attention, and they're getting all the money and all of this, and then you have the wannabes, and then the 1%. That equity has come across the board and started to level out and start to figure out these systems. We got a minute and a half to go before we go. We'll come back and finish this thread when we come back. But how is that going? The equitable nature of this thing, because obviously when it starts, football, basketball, hockey, they get all the attention. So they probably get people want to be associated with it. They want to know all the players. But how is that going?
Yeah, I would say it's going tremendous for us. Michigan State was named the best institutional NIL program in the country the summer of 2023, which was showcasing our innovative strategy and approach to not only the sports you named, but essentially all sports that we are pouring into and ensuring that they have opportunities to grow and be exposed to these opportunities that exist with not only in East Lansing regionally, but also across the country, that we've been equipping them through various opportunities to obtain.
See, that's the thing, everybody. I'm going to carry this through to close because I'm coming up on break, everybody. Let me reset this. Ashton Henderson is with me. Athletics at MSU, State of State. Ashton Henderson, 4-year letter winner, Spartan football. He is Deputy AD for Championship Resources. And we're talking about the equitable nature of NIL and how that's going to help athletics. I'm surprised that, I might have heard this from you, but the university does, when there's good pub out there, you don't usually hear about it. Being the 2023 NIL college of university in the nation, that's big. How come people haven't talked about this? Let's talk about this when we come back, because this is where we need to promote all the good that goes on. People love to poke, and this is media, everybody. I'm not talking to the listeners, but you know how it is. Negative sells. Positive just sort of goes on the back burner. These things are all positive. We want people to understand. Right after this break with Ashton Henderson to talk about how you can help, how you can become part of the Spartan Nation. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show.
This segment of The Tom Matt Show is brought to you in part by The Source of Light and Power by band leader Archibald and broadcaster Mitch Anderson. Hear the sound that is endorsed by Odyssey headphones, linear tube audio, RME converters, and Peluso microphones at sourceoflightandpower.bandcamp.com.
Welcome to the Tom Matt Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to segment 5 of the Tom Matt Show. Thank you to the radio stations that carry us and carry segment 5, and or if you are listening to the podcast, if you missed segment 5, please go to the podcast and check it out. Remember, the Tom Matt Show is easily found. TomMattShow.com, easy. We are doing really well on our YouTube. As a matter of fact, we just hit over 1 million views. We're at 1,000,003 views in less than a year and a half with our YouTube channel. I don't know diddly crap about YouTube. I mean, so, it's a small number as far as YouTube goes, but you know what? To me, it's a big deal. It's a milestone. And so it's next thing for me is like 5 million views, 10 million views. People want to know what we're selling. They want to buy what we're selling because we bring good information to you. Ashton Henderson's my guest today, athletics at MSU. I'd like to get Ashton's contact info one more time. Please reach out to Ashton because we're going to be talking about how you can become involved, and we're going to highlight some of the features that the NIL and what Ashton's handling over there. But please, before we go any further, Ashton, please, how would people want to get a hold of you? Give them that details one more time, please.
Yeah, so Henderson at ath.msu.edu is right on the msuspartans.com website. Find me under the staff directory. Let me also put in a shameless plug to our wellness line. It's 1-855-2-SPARTY, and that's anyone who's in a mental health crisis and or needs help, regardless. This is really for Spartan student athletes. However, if you're a Spartan and you need help with navigating how tough life can be, we have a 24/7 crisis lifeline. Again, that's 1-855-2-SPARTY, and someone will help you 24/7. 365. This year's a leap year, so 366 in a leap year.
That is a wonderful, wonderful plug, and I'm gonna reiterate that myself. The wellness line. How long has that been in existence?
So it's been a little over a year now, and we've been very fortunate to have it.
That's so wonderful. 855-2-SPARTY. 855-2-SPARTY. Anything we can do to help our young people with mental health. My biggest topic on this radio show next to this one is my mental health advocacy with all of my mental health experts. And it's so important to understand that everybody's going to go through troubles. Things are going to happen. To be resilient, you got to face a little bit of failure. You got to face a little bit of fear. But you know what? If we run away, we'll never get better. And that's the whole point. If you want to get better, you got to face your fear. All right, let's highlight some of the good things that are happening with NIL. How are the student athletes, the equitable nature of paying student athletes, which I'm really glad that we are now because they deserve it and they work so hard. But where are we at with that? Give us some of the highlights and how can people get involved and make donations or give in-kind trades like we do with the department? Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, so there's a myriad of ways that you can do that with our student athletes. There's what we have called the MSU Exchange, which is businesses can just go right in and register. It takes about 30 seconds. If you want to partner or do a deal with a student athlete, would love to help further communicate that to you all, as well as donating to Spartan Nation NIL has been a great resource for us as well to continue to help our student athletes continue to have a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So those are two quick, easy slam dunks. Using those basketball references as both those teams are hot as fish grease right now to really move the needle for us in the NIL climate.
Beautiful. Where do you think about with the highlighting of what's happening at the university and the payments to the student athletes? Enlighten everybody as to some of the planning that's been going into this. It's been 3 years, 4 years in the making. This stuff takes a long time. Have you worked through some of the clunkiness of the equitable nature of paying athletes? Have you guys got this sort of figured out a little bit, or are we getting there?
I wish we had it figured out, Tom. Every day is an opportunity for us to grow and learn and put the best foot forward, and that's what we do. And one of the things I will highlight is we've always done things comprehensively at Michigan State, and one of the things I'm really excited about outside of the innovative programs that Darian has put in place with the emerging, he's created what's called the emerging student athlete program, which we refer to as elite standards. Will helping their students understand all those aspects. Alex Bresky, who's also a treasured member of our team, who really has it from a governance relations, understanding holistic opportunities, which has led to another innovative practice for us, what we have an NIL course, ADV 492, that is taught by none other than Chloe Barnes Henderson, who has done a tremendous job of building out a curriculum over the last 2.5 years to help our students gain and continue, not only students, but students on campus who have an interest in learning about NIL. And the Broad College of Business has partnered with us along with some other cool initiatives that are coming together. But this is the pilot launch. It's 2 sections of the course that's being taught. And it's transformative about how to really sell yourself and understand content strategies to market yourself better and obtain true NIL deals by your own name, image, and likeness. I can't do a deal if you don't have the ability to have a following. And so that's what we are actively working with our students to ensure they have a robust following, but for the reasons that they want, not what they desire. So not what we want. So
I want to help you. You know this. We've talked about this, and help our student athletes by utilizing and leveraging this radio program. And so, we will do what we have to do. I'd love to get Chloe on the radio program to talk about these programs because these are really cool things. I know you were the National Association of Academic Student Athlete Development professionals for several years. What was that role all about for you? How did that prepare you for this role? I mean, you continue to add to your portfolio and your CV and your resume. And I mean, you're a shining example of what continuing education is all about. What was that all about?
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate to serve as president, the youngest president of our national association. Dr. Clarence Underwood was one of our founding fathers, and Jim Pignataro, one of my mentors and someone who we know and love both dearly, was NVORI president many, many moons ago. So we're celebrating 50 years of excellence here this summer in Orlando. And that group of itself served as a microcosm of learning for me to really be the best and brightest from all 18 affiliates and really understand, how to lead, not only through COVID, but also just working with various leaders across the scope of athletics from different verticals, which has been nothing short of amazing in my growth as a professional.
All right, let's take the rest of the show because you know how people are. They're going to say, Tom, you're talking to an athletic director. He's a former football player, and you haven't talked about football at all. All right. So let's take the next couple of minutes to fill that need that people are going to be like, God dang it, Tom, talk about football. All right, let's talk about football. What's your vibe, man?
Vibes are unbelievably high. I'm so excited. As a Spartan dog, taking off the administrator hat, we couldn't have a better leader over in our football building than Jonathan Smith. He's curated an unbelievable staff as well as just very good people, very down-to-earth, approachable individuals who our student athletes love and are going to run through walls for and are currently running through walls for. The program and where we're heading, I couldn't be more excited. They're going to do amazing things. We are going to get back to where we were, and I know Coach Smith is committed to doing that, and his staff is committed to doing that, and I know he's going to do some unbelievable things here in East Lansing. So hang tight, buy your season tickets, support him, go to his radio show, and let him know, because trust me, when we get back rolling, that's a train you want to be on and not getting left off of, because it's coming.
Get on the train, baby. We've had season tickets for 25 years. And I mean, even when I was working all those events, when this guy Ashton Henderson was playing ball, I was on the sideline trying to take care of those headsets for the coaches so that he could keep doing his job. I mean, we have some talent at our program. One thing that I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, and I have never met Coach Smith, but I've met Coach D'Antonio many, many times, and I've heard a lot of comparisons to the two men. Do you see that?
Very much so. Very, very principled guys. A lot of quotes, a lot of, their beliefs and systems and value systems are permeating through the team. And you can see that very, very, very well. I noticed that very early in my process learning about Coach Smith. Very, very strong similarities with him and Coach D.
Ashton Henderson's our guest today, everybody. Athletics at MSU, state of state. Ashton, we got 2 minutes to go before we wrap this bad boy, and I want to get your takeaway. But before we do that, I'm sorry to eat up a little bit of time on your takeaway, but what do you think about Coach D going into the Hall of Fame?
I am so ecstatic for him, reaching out to our teammates, captains of our eras, the Caleb Thornhills, who's one of my dear and best friends, Kirk Cousins, all of us texting about how he came here with a vision. He told us, what he was going to do, and he did it, and we believed in him. And to this day, he's the most humble guy you'll ever meet. He'll never take credit for those 118 wins that he was responsible for. It was never an I, it was we. All never just, that's who he is. And I'm so excited that the world and that committee understood that, along with his Rose Bowl induction too. What a banner year for him.
Excellent. What's your 30-second takeaway for MSU? Go ahead and do a quick plug.
I'm excited with the direction that we're heading and what we're doing. Our sports teams are doing some unbelievable things. Come support our teams like we all continue to do. Amazing environments. And we're going to continue to permeate the spirit of MSU, not only here regionally, but everywhere. So go green.
Go white, baby. His name is Ashton Henderson. He's my friend. Athletics at MSU, state of state. If you missed any portion of our radio program, go get the podcast. Go get the clips. Go for it. If our show fits your business or group's mission, we want to be of service to you through our guests like an Ashton Henderson. Thank you again to my friend Ashton Henderson, Sandy, Matt, Craig Stiles, Brock Fletcher. We'll talk to everybody next weekend, everybody. Have a great week. Go out and ignite your light. Good day now. Remember, Tom Matt Show is a production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. And lastly, I want to say thank you to our production staff, Mitch Anderson and Vanessa. You guys are killing it. Thank you so much. We are out.
The Tom Matt Show is produced by Mitch Anderson of Black Circle Studios. Original music from the Source of Light and Power by the Ark of All.